May I request all the participants to kindly be muted, please? Yeah, thank you so much.
Arna Foundation students, you are going to record the session.
Yes,
Yes, sir. The recording is on already.
Yes, sir.
So what you should do, if somebody starts
बहुत ज़्यादा disturbance है। ज्योति मैम, Dhanashree, please mute everyone. Go Corona Go. I'm sure when you read our webinar invite, this was the exact thought in your minds. Yes, the one thing that children, adults, and old people alike are thinking right now. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to each one of you. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules and being here with us today. During these uncertain times of the pandemic, when fear and panic is spreading faster than the virus itself, it has become extremely important for us to ensure that interpretation and communication of information is accurate, timely, and more importantly, understood well by everyone. With this view, we have put together this webinar, The A to Z of COVID-19, organized by the Dhyan Ganga Education Trust's College of Education under the Community Work Program for B.Ed, in association with the Arna Foundation, Khushiyan Foundation, Vishwa Kalyan Samajik Sanstha, and the People's Foundation. It is my proud privilege to extend a warm welcome to our beloved Principal Ma'am, our esteemed professors, and to each one of you, my dear friends. During the course of the seminar, please feel free to type out any questions or queries that you might have in the chat box. A humble request to all of you to keep yourselves muted during the course of the sessions to avoid any disturbance. As every good thing starts with God, may I now request my friend Pooja to lead us into prayer.
Thank you, Priya. 2020, the year that taught us to minimize, to improvise, to compromise. 2020, the year we slowed down, we paused, we realized that we
Pooja,
could
you are
do
not
without.
audible.
2020, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 2020, the year that taught us to minimize, to improvise, to compromise. 2020, the year we slowed down, we paused, we realized what we could do without. Our celebrations were muted, understated, but no less joyous. 2020, the year we cried. We mourned for the unnecessary deaths, for job losses, for social justice. 2020, the year injustices were even more pronounced. Economic disparity, social disparity, racial disparity, age disparity, immune system disparity. We worried about the aged, alone, and isolated. We worried about the youth. Could their young minds handle all that was being thrown at them? And then we collected ourselves. We adjusted. We empathized. We sympathized. We stepped up and stepped in where needed. We reached out. 2020 is behind us. Before we begin, I would like to offer a brief prayer of thanksgiving that I have relied upon heavily, especially throughout the past year, as we have suffered as a community, as a nation, and as a world in so many ways. Loving Creator, we asked for strength, and you gave us the difficulties to make us strong. We asked for wisdom, and you gave us problems to solve. We asked for prosperity, and you gave us purpose and brains to use. We asked for courage, and you gave us fears to overcome. We asked for patience, and you gave us situations where we were forced to wait. We asked for love, and you gave us troubled people to help. We asked for justice, and you called us to be just and lead with integrity. Lord, we have received nothing that we asked for or wanted, and yet we received everything that we needed. For this, we give thanks. Now I request Gomti to begin the session.
Thank you, Pooja. Yes, prayers are much needed now as they provide us with the spiritual and emotional strength to go through this difficult period. But we also need to take care of ourselves by ourselves. There are simple ways to prevent the spread of the virus by maintaining one, the hand hygiene, two, respiratory hygiene, three, social distancing, and finally, four, by taking care of the high risk group. But before that, how does the virus spread? It gets transmitted in such unassuming and unobtrusive manner that it has become very difficult to check its spread. Sneezes and coughs by an infected person are the primary forms of transmission. The tiny droplets, which we so casually ignore, carry the infected virus. So when we sneeze or cough, these drops get passed on to our bare hands. Our hands touch so many surfaces and people the whole day. And thus, the virus gets transmitted to the others with whom the infected person has come in contact or through the surface which has been touched by the infected person. So what do we do to control this transmission? We fight it by following simple hygiene rules, and more importantly, by not falling prey to misinformation. Firstly, we must avoid touching our face repeatedly with our bare hands. Rubbing our eyes or nose or mouth is an absolute no-no. If you have to, then use a handkerchief or a tissue. Secondly, we must wash our hands often by rubbing thoroughly together for at least 40 seconds with soap and water. Especially when we come home from the market or office, we must without fail head to the washroom, wash our hands thoroughly, and put our clothes for wash before we interact with the rest of the family. We can also make sure that we clean the exposed surfaces like door handles and doorbells with the sanitizer. Thirdly, When in a public place, in case there's no soap and water available, then make sure to generously rub some sanitizer on your hands. When using elevator buttons or handrails, make sure to avoid direct contact and use a tissue paper or handkerchief. It all sounds elaborate, but are basic hygiene rules that will help us in the long run. After all, a little effort goes a long way. For more information on these precautions, I'll ask my friend Bansi to take over from here.
Thank you, Gomti. I will be talking about some more measures to prevent and limit the transmission of the virus. We'll start with respiratory hygiene. Use a handkerchief or a tissue to cover your face while coughing or sneezing. Dispose that tissue into the garbage bin. You can also cover your sneeze with your bent upper arm. Use a sanitizer every time you touch your mouth or nose. Do not spit in the open. Do not cover your face with a sari or dupatta. Always use a clean mask to cover your face. Next, we come to social distancing. The best way to protect yourself and to help reduce the spread of virus, limit your interactions physically with others as much as possible. Stay home. Step out only in case of emergency. In case you step out, keep at least 1 meter distance between yourself and another person. Do not attend social gatherings. Avoid going to malls, markets, and do not use public transport. Next, we come to high-risk group. This group includes people who are at an increased risk of getting infected. It involves older people, pregnant women, adults of any age with underlying medical conditions like heart diseases, diabetes, lung disease, kidney problems, and cancer patients. So, my friends, our health is in our hands. Please take care. I'll pass on to my friend Priya. Over to you, Priya.
Thank you, Bansi. We've heard two speakers speaking about what we can do during COVID, how we can protect ourselves. So, very quick question to all of you. Suppose, it's an hypothetical situation. Suppose we decide to open physical schools and colleges next month. We just want to take your feedback on what you would do. Would you be, ready to send your children to school? Would you yourselves, if you are college students, be ready to attend college physically? We have a poll coming up for you. Hamida, can you please launch the poll? You are required to give your personal feedback based on what you think about this situation. We would really love to know. The poll will be on your screens. Okay, so you have three options. Of course, yes, we know what is to be done during Corona. So why not? Your second option is definitely not. I'm still not feeling safe. And the third option is maybe I'm not very sure what to do right now. Please go ahead and poll. You have 15 seconds with you right now. Do not forget to click the submit button on your screen. I hope you all are able to see the poll on your screen and are participating wholeheartedly. We would love to know the popular opinion on Corona status currently. Okay, so here we are. Though we know that, everything is under control, we have only 19% of the people who are ready to wholeheartedly go out and enter the normal world. A whopping 43% is saying definitely not. Next month, no way. And a 38% like me are like, maybe, we don't know what's going to happen next month. So this is exactly what we are saying, okay? And this poll, we just wanted to identify what is the thought process. Thank you so much, Hamida. With this, may I request my friend Pavitra to take this session forward?
Thank you, Priya. Thank you for the wonderful question. I'm sure everybody had an answer to it. So let's have a silent clap to all the doctors and the frontline workers who've been doing a wonderful job way ahead of Corona and during the Corona time that we are going through. So, have you been exposed to the virus? Now, since the lockdown has been probably has come to an end in most of these states, so have you been exposed to the virus? Because if at any point of time you feel that you have come in contact with a person who has been tested as COVID positive, please do not hit the panic button. We all and you can definitely still stay safe by keeping your distance, wearing a mask, avoiding visitors in the house, seek healthcare if essential, and avoid going to public places. Consider a situation. You have a person at home who has been tested as COVID positive. What would we do in that situation? What can we do? One, we can provide enough support. Support would be in the form of making sure that the person who is sick drinks a lot of fluids and takes ample amount of rest. Keep talking to the doctor and keep giving an update in terms of the patient's health. In case the symptoms worsen, then immediately inform the doctor. For most of the patients and for most of the people, now that they are at home, quarantined themselves, symptoms last for a few days and people usually feel better after a week. Communicate with the person, keep talking to the person. This is a very difficult situation. As the patient is isolated, there is some amount of probably getting into a feeling of depression, probably because the patient is all alone in the room. So keep communicating with the patient through a mobile, through a tab, keep having a video conferencing and keep telling the patient that everything is going to be fine and the patient is going to be hale and hearty very soon. Keep cleaning and disinfecting the doorknobs, the surfaces every now and then. Avoid sharing any personal household items. Please keep them separate from the patient who is there at home. They need to be rinsed separately and ensure that you are wearing gloves all the time while doing so. Now that if we have a person who is COVID positive, again, do not panic. Now, apart from the person who has to be taken care of, even there are other family members who need to be taken care of because we are all staying in the same flat, right? So what can we do to protect ourselves while caring for someone with COVID-19? We can get tested once we come to know that the person is, there is a person or family member who is COVID positive. So we can immediately get tested. Keep our limit in terms of contact with the person who is COVID positive. Keep the windows open and improve the ventilation. It is important to remember that indoors, the virus is and can remain in the air for a very long time in very small droplets and can potentially infect others. Keep wearing a mask because it will definitely reduce the chances of infection and will give you a lot of protection. Avoid any direct contact with the person who is sick in terms of the bodily fluids. Be careful with the dishes. Be careful with the laundry. It has to be sanitized and it has to be washed separately and it has to be disinfected separately. Keep washing your hands, disinfect the surfaces, wash your hands often with either a soap water or probably you can use an alcohol-based sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, your mouth, and your face. People have to be responsible. We have to be responsible as a citizen and act like one. The fight with COVID is not yet over. Don't let your guard down. We don't have to be caged in our house. It is also not anything to do with social stigma. But yes, let's follow the basic rules when we are stepping out of the house. Let's take care of ourselves and let us also take care of people who are going to be surrounded because of us. So stay safe and stay healthy. Having said this, I would now pass it on to Dhanada, who is going to show you something very interesting. Dhanada, over to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dhanada Hingne and I am here to talk about masks. We all know that wearing masks with other preventive measures can help slow the spread of the virus. Nowadays, masks has become our needs. Just like we stock up other items in our house, we also have masks. But there can come a time when you want to step out of the house and you realize that your old mask has worn out and you don't have a new mask at home. So today I am going to teach you a mask without sewing for such emergency situations. So let's begin.
That was a lovely DIY, Dhanada. I am sure it will be handy for us when we run out of our masks. I am Jenny Shah, and today I'm going to talk to you all about community services. If there is one common thread amongst all of us, it is our deep desire to help and support others, be they family members, members of our community, or fellow humans across the globe. The novel coronavirus feels uncertain and scary. But in spite of these feelings, most of us find ourselves asking, how can I help? So today, we offer you a variety of suggestions for ways to support others. After all, socially distanced as we may be, we're all in this together. Number one, check on your neighbors. Call or text your neighbors, especially the elder ones, to make sure that they are doing okay. Ask if there is anything that they need. If you have what they are looking for, you can offer to leave it outside their houses so that they can pick it up without coming in direct contact with you. If you feel a little more comfortable, you can consider knocking on the door and having a chat through the window or the door, just to offer a little bit of comfort and reassurance. Number two, connect and volunteer virtually. Even as we have to limit our large gatherings and in person meetings, I urge you to check in with your family and friends. Now, more than ever, there is a need to maintain person to person connection in any safe way that we can. Number three, waste not, want not. I'm sure you all remember the first many mad dashes that we made to the grocery store, and we stocked up our pantries, freezers, fridges with all the necessities. But as and when the grocery store shelves started to empty out, we couldn't keep on restocking like usual. And so, it's very important that we use what we have. We store the food in a proper place so that it doesn't rot out. We wash the produce and use it only when we are ready. You freeze anything that you are not going to be using for a little while. And you, more than anything, not waste food. Finish your leftovers, complete it. Number four, give blood. As the novel coronavirus still continues to spread, we expect to see a decrease in those who are eligible to donate blood, who are willing to donate blood. Donating blood is a safe process, and people should not hesitate to give or receive blood. The need for blood is constant, and volunteer donors are the only source of blood for those who are in the need of transfusion. Number five, you can make a donation. If you have the resources, consider making a donation in your favorite organization, whether they're for the frontliners or their mission is completely unrelatable. Your contribution will definitely make a big difference. Number six, mental health. Fear, worry, and stress. These are the normal responses to perceived or real threats. And at times when we are facing with uncertainty or the it is normal and understandable that people are experiencing fear in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. Adding to the fear of contracting the virus, there are other significant changes to our daily lives and our movements. Our movements are now restricted. And just to slow down the spread of virus, we are all staying indoors. We are facing new realities. We are working from home. Many of us are facing temporary unemployment, homeschooling of the children, lack of the physical contact of other family members, friends, and colleagues. It's very important to look after our mental health amongst all of this. Number 7, gratitude. This pandemic will definitely subside and we will all be slowly able to get back to our normal lives. Once we are on the other side of this crisis, we are going to have a whole lot of people to thank: grocery store clerks, domestic workers, nurses, doctors, police officers, firefighters, sanitization workers, teachers who taught our kids virtually. The list is never ending. And we may not be able to do much right now, but we can clearly get a head start on finding ways to show our gratitude to them. Number 8, take care of yourself. As everyone says, secure your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Self care is incredibly important at a time like this. Ensuring that you're making safe is a smart choice and a civic duty. Doing your part will simply mean taking care of yourself, and that is absolute brave you are. Never ever fear reaching out for support whenever you need it. So, these are various ways you can give back to community. Now, I will hand over the session to Miss Priya.
Thank you so much, Jenny. That was a much needed session. And we've got so much information from all the speakers, some which we already knew, something that we've learned today. And now it's time to test your knowledge. Very quickly, I will be sharing my screen with you now. I have put in a link in your chat box. You are required to click on that link and join the quiz that is going to come up now. Or you can alternatively type QUIZIZZ on your browsers and click in this link code 047860. Click on the link in your chat box and you will come onto this quiz page. Is everybody able to see the link? Yeah, please join the quiz quickly. We need to very quickly know how many of you all have got some information from the sessions that we had today.
किसी को देखा थोड़ा आगे तक देखा वो उनको पैर थोड़ा दर्द मुझे सामने वो लड़की आ रही ना
Yeah, are you able to join the quiz? I'm not seeing any participants on screen.
Priya, I am not able to join. I mean, I got the select team and all, but how to go ahead?
Just put your name in and say join.
But where to put my name?
In the game code. Have you clicked on the link that is there in the chat box?
Yeah, after that I entered my name, then it is showing me select a theme.
No,
So
just
how?
go ahead. No need to select theme or anything. Just go ahead and join.
No, but where is the next button?
Can somebody help her out? Because I'm not able to see it on my screen now. I'm already in the game.
May I tell what is going on?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, actually, I have joined it. When you click on join and you add your name, it is showing this many participants are still joining.
Yeah.
So I think so it will take some time to start.
Okay, because I am also saying the same screen. You are playing with 43 other players.
Yeah. So you'll have to wait. Maybe she will start from here and then you will be able to start it.
Okay.
Yes, we will.
We all will be starting together only.
So still everyone is joining.
Yeah, because I'm not able to see any people in my game, so I cannot start the game.
Ma'am, we are already 44
I think
people
you can
waiting.
start. There are already 44 people.
1 second. It's not allowing me to start. Let me just. Okay, here we go. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting only for the top 10 people to finish the quiz for
Yeah,
possible time. So please do your best here. Okay, the last 15 seconds. Buck up, everyone. Last 5 seconds. A bonus 3 seconds for those who want to finish up the quiz. And here we end the quiz. Please take a look at the leaderboard. On the first place, we have Shweta Anandashivan. Second place, Revati. And third place, Hayan. I request all of you to give a big hand to these three who literally are now the A to Z of COVID-19 scholars, I can say. Okay, that was a very exciting session. And now to end it with a bang, may I now hand over the further proceedings to my friend Hamida. Thank you all for participating in the quiz.
Thank you so much, Priya. That was an amazing interactive activity. I hope you participants have enjoyed. Well, moving forward, today we are indeed privileged to have amongst us Dr. Asim Khan, who is a renowned consultant and assistant professor in orthopedics at KJ Somaiya Medical College. He is a medical practitioner since the past 11 years. Dr. Khan has completed his MBBS from Manipal University and his master's in orthopedic surgery from NHI Medical College, Ahmedabad. Dr. Khan
has a rich medical background and has also done fellowship in shoulder and knee arthroscopy. He has presented research papers in various national and international conferences and has many publications and articles in research journals credited in his name. So I now invite Dr. Khan to enlighten us with his precious words of wisdom, or rather caution, I would say. Dr. Asim Khan.
Thank you, Amita. Thank you so much for inviting me on this platform. I thank you so much, and I thank you, Dhyanchan College, for giving me this platform to talk about COVID vaccine. First of all, I would like to elaborate a little bit on what is COVID vaccine, and since many people have many questions regarding it, and try to elaborate and try to remove some of the myths regarding COVID vaccine. First of all, let me a vaccine is. See, first of all, vaccine is nothing but the protein, which is the infected part of a virus or maybe a bacteria or anything which can cause infection in our body. So what happens is any organism for that matter, if it goes inside our body, our defense mechanism fights against this. So what happens is the virus, which is the protein component, which is the infective part, whenever it goes inside our body, our defense mechanism acts against it. So vaccine is nothing but a small dose, a very, very small dose of that infected protein of the virus. So, so that the body starts as the immune response against it. For example, let me explain in terms of, suppose there is a war going on. So what happens is if someone attacks with a team of maybe 10 people against a million people. So vaccine does exactly the same thing. Vaccine is like the foreign body which has infected us. So our defense mechanism, which is of course in numbers, it is much, much more than the infected protein which is going inside our body. So that's what exactly a vaccine is. And again, since it's infected, it's it is the inactivated protein. So it will not cause infection, say, to us. Second of all, COVID vaccine, as compared to everywhere in the world, last 2020 was a disaster for everyone around the world. And now, since the COVID vaccine, everyone was waiting for it. But people have questions again regarding, okay, now every vaccine has its short-term side effects. It has some long-term side effects. So every vaccine, whenever it is released for the general public to take in, so it has to go through various clinical trials. So this clinical trials not only test the effectiveness of the vaccine, it also tests the side effects. Not even vaccine, any medicine for that matter, a simple medicine as crocin, even that medicine has side effects to a very small number of population. In the same way, vaccine is released for a larger group. And of course, at the same time, like COVID vaccine, whatever is released in India as of now, there are two different type of vaccine. There is a Covaxin and there is Covishield. There are other pharmaceutical companies also, which is also going to be releasing their vaccines. There are another 4-5 vaccines will be releasing by the end of this year. So we are waiting for them to release, because these, as the time goes by, the effectiveness of the vaccine keeps on getting better and better. So Covishield, in terms of Covishield and Covaxin, which is already released, like the healthcare practitioners have already gotten it 2 months back, and it has been given in form of 2 doses. And since day before yesterday, in my medical college, Tejas Somaiya Medical College, they have already started giving it to the elderlies and more than 60-year-old. And other one is 45-year-olds, more than 45-year-olds who have some comorbidities. So these people have already started getting the vaccine, and it's doing amazing. Like all my colleagues who have already gotten it 2 months back, yes, there have been some side effects, but the maximum what we have heard is typical pain at the injection site. Then there is fever to some people, some body ache, but that has lasted not more than 1 to 2 days. But so at the same time, I want to tell people that as soon as it is available for the general population, which I hope it happens as soon as possible. Please go and take it. There is nothing to worry. Just because there is a side effect of something, that doesn't mean it is going to be unsafe for you. Okay, so just go ahead whenever it comes. Please go ahead. Don't worry about anything. So this is just what I wanted to talk to you about. If any question, please feel free to ask me.
That was indeed an eye-opening session, isn't it? Thank you so much, Dr. Khan, for clearing all our misconceptions related to the vaccine. I would now like to open the Q&A session. Participants, if you wish to pose any questions to Dr. Khan, kindly type in the chat box. Doctor, there's a question. Are young children susceptible to COVID-19, especially if a parent tests positive?
Okay. See, what has happened is, if you see the number of people getting infected, so the age between around the children who are less than 15 years, it's just 9 to 10% of them are getting COVID. Now, the reason, there are various theories regarding it, that why children are not getting infected. The reason is that children, while they are developing, at that time they are, as it is, getting infection, other kind of infection. Common cold is very common in them. There are fevers due to bacteria. There is sore throat. There are abdominal issues. There are diarrheas and everything. So the first 15 years, as it is, the children continuously keep on getting some infection or the other. So the immune status of children compared to the adults is very on the higher side as compared to the adults. So that is probably one of the reason why children are not getting that much infected. That is the reason, because the immune response is already very active at their age.
Okay, so we have a question. My parents were COVID positive now and cured. Any problem to vaccinate them?
No, see, even if they have gotten COVID, they have recovered from it, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be taking vaccine. For the biggest reason being that COVID has many different strains. So even if you were infected by one of the strains, that doesn't mean that you will not get infected by any other strain. So vaccine, although it might not be very specific to any particular strain, but as I already said, the protein component, which is the infective component of all the strains, almost remains the same. So of course, they've even if they have already tested positive, they have recovered, they should test the vaccine because it protects them from other strains also.
Okay, thank you, doctor. One more question is there. Can you suggest upon the choice of the vaccine, whether we should opt for Covishield or Covaxin?
See, that is, I don't really think so, because if there is someone who's having fever, I can prescribe them Crocin also. I can prescribe them any other. It's just a matter of a different pharmaceutical company. I don't think so. There is any big difference, because the channel through which a vaccine goes through, it remains the same. It's just a different pharmaceutical company. So if someone's having fever, Crocin will also help, Dolo will also help, Calpol will also help. So it's basically one of the same thing.
So another question is whether lactating mothers or those having diabetes can take the vaccine.
Lactating mothers, I won't prescribe, because lactating mothers as such is not prescribed to any vaccine is not prescribed to any lactating mothers. So in that way, they shouldn't be taking it. And in terms of diabetes, yes, of course, diabetics are not contraindicated in any way. So they can absolutely go ahead, as long as their sugar is well controlled, they can absolutely take it. There's no side effect for that.
Doctor, we have one more question. My husband was tested COVID positive and he has recovered. However, his COVID antibody test was high. Is it okay to vaccinate him now?
Yeah, there's not going to be any side effect. The antibody titer, if it's high, that's a very good thing. So yes, even then they can go ahead with that. No, it's no problem at all.
There's a related question. My mother, who is around 76 years, has recently developed allergies to certain medicines, especially painkillers like Itova P and few others.
Okay.
Can she be vaccinated? She has blood pressure and is taking medicines for it.
Okay. So now if she's 76 years old and she's allergic to some medicine, but of course she just because she's allergic to some medicine does not put her to a stand that she will be having any problem while taking a vaccine. But of course, what she can do is she can go to the person whoever is going to be prescribing this, and they might tell them to know the immunological status. They might tell them to take a test for that. And what happens is, as I already mentioned, the vaccine is a very small dose of the protein of the virus as it is. So what technically do is, when the vaccine is being taken, the patient is told to sit there for half an hour. So if at all a person starts to develop side effect, even if a person who's not having any allergies to any other medication, even those people, any person who doesn't have any allergies also, even they are told to sit there for half an hour, so that even if a person develops something as remotely as severe body pain or as remotely as any other allergic reaction, then something can be done about that. But I don't think so there's anything to be panicked about. If you are allergic to peanuts, if you're allergic to shrimp, that doesn't put you allergic to any other thing. Even same goes for medicine. It's a foreign body. It may be a organism, it may be a food item, it can be dust, it can be anything. So just because you're allergic to one doesn't put you in allergic to other things also. But of course, the good thing is to tell that to the doctor who is going to administer it to you, so that you stay there for some time and see how your body reacts.
Okay, there's one question. How about a special child who is now an adult? Can they take the vaccine? The child is on anti-epileptic medicine and nephrotic syndrome.
Okay, I don't think so. See, this child who must be who has epileptic syndrome and nephrotic syndrome and everything, the person is already must have taken all the vaccines since childhood, because in our country, since his childhood, you are going to get at least 7-8 vaccines. So I'm pretty sure the child must have taken all the vaccines prior. So again, at the same time, this doesn't put him in the contraindication list per se to not take the vaccine.
Okay, doctor, since we have time constraints, I would like to take up last two questions. The first one is, does the vaccine guarantee no COVID?
Okay, no problem. It doesn't guarantee non-COVID at all. See, of course, talking about everything related to COVID vaccine. See, COVID vaccine, even if after you have taken COVID vaccine, right now when I have taken COVID vaccine, I'm going out, I'm wearing mask, I'm doing all the preventive measures has to be still taken, because we have still not yet completely sure, because still there are so many types of COVID strain out there. And we are still yet to find out whether the vaccine is going to be protective against all the strains. So we have to be very careful even after taking the vaccine. The good thing is that the vaccine will protect us from any infection which is going to happen further, or maybe it will stop our immune response will be already prepared for that infection, even if we contract it later in life. But again, sadly, we have not yet reached that level that we'll be 100% sure that it will not cause us infection. No, we have to be still careful about it.
Okay, doctor, one last question. My mother-in-law is using blood thinner as she had undergone bypass surgery a couple of years back. Is it safe for her to be vaccinated?
Okay, blood thinners as such, I don't think so is a contraindication again. But again, this person falls in the category where you have to meet that particular doctor before vaccination. Let them know about the status, because vaccine is not going to cause you any sort of a, blood thinners. There's no interaction between the two drugs. But again, the immune status for some people, see what happens is, if a person whom we know has a extremely low immune status, we cannot give the vaccine, since, as I already said, we will be injecting a inactivated protein of the virus itself. So if the person already has a very extremely low kind of a immune status, it is still not advisable to take the vaccine. But again, this person, blood thinners again is not a contraindication for not taking the vaccine, so can possibly go ahead with it.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Khan. It was
My pleasure.
indeed an informative session. Thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you so
With
much,
this,
Amida.
yeah, with this, we have reached the far end of this webinar. And as the tradition goes, we surely need to hear something from our dearest principal ma'am, Dr. Anjana Rawat. Ma'am, I request you to share your thoughts on today's webinar.
Hamida, ma'am is coming in. Ma'am is coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. Hopefully the webinar related to COVID-19 is over. And I have not attended the program, but still I would like to congratulate Dr. Asim for her explanation regarding COVID-19, that is A to Z explanation she has given. And I'm very happy. And I want to congratulate my team, SYBA team, for organizing such a wonderful webinar, because this is really need of an hour. As we are suffering from second phase of COVID-19 and lots of precaution we really need to take care of it. Okay, thank you, Dr. Asim, for sharing your knowledge and experiences with our students. Thank you for accepting invitation. And once again, congratulations to entire DGT BA team, especially second year student. Okay, congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your
Thank you,
kind
ma'am.
words, which always inspire us to push our limits and enter the unknown zone. Now I would request our guide, our mentor, none other than Ketan Kamble sir, to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Hamida, and entire Arna Foundation team who has really perspired hard to, bring your webinar to this stage. Very well coordinated, very important thing. Second important thing, it was very interactive. Polls was new thing. And then online quiz, whatever software or online platform was used, that was new to me. I would also like to learn that thing. And then I was having in mind that okay, it will be about all coronavirus, its symptoms, etc., etc. But best part was we got first-hand information and very clear information about vaccine by Dr. Asim. Dr. Asim, I personally thank you on behalf of Nyanganga College of Education. Thanking you for taking out your time from your busy schedule and joining us. And overall, you justified Arna team with your theme A to Z of COVID-19. So it was totally justified. You started with the virus and then afterwards you ended with the vaccine. ऐसा है. And I really wish to God and pray to God that this vaccine should now put full stop to this pandemic and life should become totally normal as soon as possible. And you have really done a very good community awareness program. Now few instruction to SY B.Ed student and FY B.Ed students both. So this was 5th day of your community work, SY B.Ed student. Okay, remember 5th day. Okay, because first day we had community work on cancer awareness. Then it was Kushia Foundation. Then it was Vishwa Kalyan. Yesterday was People's Foundation, and today Arna Foundation. So 5 days of community work done. And tomorrow
So you are not audible. Hello?
as well as second year student, they are going to join tomorrow's session also, which is on women's right. Okay, because that is also a sort of community awareness program. And tomorrow your community work will finish. It will get over. How to write the reports and all that thing. Okay, second year students, I am going to have your session probably on Tuesday. Okay, so you all have to join, and then afterwards we'll decide how to write the reports and all that thing, because we have done all the things online. So I will explain you all that thing. And first year student, don't get panic. Once reports are done by the second year students, I will send the sample copy to you, because I am aware कि आप लोग सब नए हो, कुछ आइडिया नहीं है, इसके वजह से सेकेंड ईयर स्टूडेंट्स करेंगे और फिर आपको दिया जाएगा. तो उससे रिलेटेड आप टेंशन मत लो और उससे रिलेटेड कोई भी मैसेज मत भेजना. हाँ, ठीक है. वेबिनार्स भी जो हुए हैं उसके भी जो रिपोर्ट्स है वो हम आपको ग्रुप में भेज देंगे. रफ रिपोर्ट मिलेगा, फाइनल आपको करना है. एकदम रेडीमेड रिपोर्ट नहीं. कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस, यू हैव डन very well. Okay, proud of you students. Okay, thank you
sir.
so much.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Every journey has its end, and every path does stop somewhere. So with this, we come to an end of today's webinar on the A to Z of COVID-19. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of my entire team. First and foremost, I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Anjana Rawat ma'am, for giving us an opportunity and a platform to try and bring a positive change in the society. Next, we are really thankful to Dr. Asim Khan for taking time out of his busy schedule to attend this session and enlighten us all. Any program is incomplete without our strong support pillars, Ketan sir and Savita ma'am. I thank them for their unwavering support, encouragement, and valuable feedback. I would also like to thank all the teaching and non-teaching staff of the DGET team. Last, but definitely not the least, I thank each and every participant for attending this webinar and making it a true success. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dr. Asim, thank you once again. Thank you so much.
So can I end the meeting?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
You. Yeah, and all of you,
Thank
please
you,
join
everyone.
our
Thank you.
well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hamida ma'am, as a leader.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.